Happy Tuesday, Dolphins fans. And maybe it isn't such a happy Tuesday because we did have to watch an atrocity this past Sunday when they lost to the Seattle Seahawks 24-3. But nearly 48 hours after the game, I think we've been able to collect our thoughts and we can all officially agree that let's just move forward to the Week 4 matchup at home on Monday Night Football against the Tennessee Titans. And although there might not be much excitement for that game, there is a lot of things that we have to talk about and break down leading up to Week 4 because we do not know who's going to be starting at quarterback with that game. There's a lot of injury news on Terron, Armstead, and Kendall Fuller as well, and we will break it all down on today's show. Welcome in the 100 people joining us. I am Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. And before we get into the nuts and bolts of today's live show, shout out your city for me down in the comment section. Want to know where all the real runs are watching from, and we'll give some shout outs already. We got my guy Ryan Nodal, Cheesemonger, GG, Ryan Miller, all hanging out with us down in the comment section. Appreciate all of you. And we do have to talk about the possibility of the Dolphins adding a quarterback to the roster as well, just because, well, Mike McDaniel said today in his press conference that it is possible that Chris Grier adds another quarterback to the roster, especially if Skylar Thompson's chest injury ends up holding him out a little bit of time. We got Dean in Fredericksburg, Virginia, Jorge in Miami Beach, Florida, Dorian in Tampa Bay, Kristen saying, I hope we get the W. I think we will get a W this week. I do. Chad Jones, my guy, is in Virginia. Tim Boo is in Virginia. Ralphie's in Cortland, New York. For all my real ones watching in southeast part of the country, stay safe. I know there's that nasty storm coming your way. It hasn't been fully upgraded to a hurricane yet, I think, the last time I checked, but stay safe in the southeast, my friends. Stay safe out there. James watching from Alabama. May is in Atlanta. Jersey, Mississippi from Aguero. Derek's in Compton, California. Marlon's Prod is we're in Puerto Rico, but he's also got a Braves icon. Marlon's Prods. What's up with the Braves icon? What's up with the Braves? Daniel's in Jacksonville. Ryan's in California. Big Crypto's in Florida. My girl Kristen's in Bay Area. Jacob Bowman's in Bowling Green, Ohio. Appreciate every single one of you for coming and hanging out. And let's talk quarterback. Should the Dolphins add another QB to the roster as we welcome in our producer for today's live show, Cullen Brown? He produced last week's weekly live show. Appreciate him. Type your Y's, type your N's. It's also our live poll as well. Chris Grier allegedly is looking into the possibility of adding a quarterback. Right now they have Skylar Thompson, Tyler Huntley, and Tim Boyle on the 53-man. But I wouldn't be shocked if they end up cutting one of, I would say, Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle. They are both not a good quarterbacks, and, well, Skylar Thompson is injured. But let me know your thoughts down below. And also, Cullen, what are your thoughts?
You know, we've talked about it, I think, last week on the show whenever I was on. And listen, there's still two guys that I think a lot of Dolphins fans would open, to this Dolphins roster, Ryan Tannehill and Bryce Young. Now, Bryce Young, the Panthers came out and said that they're not looking to trade him, that he's probably going to stay in Carolina. And listen, that's a very interesting situation over there. We'll see how that develops. But Ryan Tannehill is still out there on the open market. And maybe Mike McDaniel has a vision for Tyler Huntley and how he wants to use him in his offense. I just personally think at this current moment, Ryan Tannehill gives you a better chance to win than Tyler Huntley. I could be wrong. We'll see how Huntley looks if he does potentially play this weekend against Tennessee. But that's a name that I'm definitely looking out for personally.
Yeah, as much as I'd love to bring in Ryan Tannehill, and I said it was the clear decision to make after Tua's initial injury, and you knew he was probably going to be out 4 games, but the reports out there is that Ryan Tannehill does not want a backup job, and if he wants to sign somewhere, he wants it to be for a starting role for the entire season. Obviously, Miami's not going to give him starting role for the entire season because I personally do expect Tua Tagovailoa to be back in NFL Week 8 when he is first eligible to return off of IR for that home game against the Arizona Cardinals. But we'll see if they ultimately add another quarterback. I'd like to see what we have in Tyler Huntley. I believe he can lead the Dolphins to a win. We got Derek Washington saying yes. We got Alfredo saying Tannehill. James Strickland says Tannehill. Willie says Tannehill. We got Michael Avocado or I don't know, Michael saying I play Huntley first, then make a decision. That's why I'm with you there.
Rolly's not the best with names, but it's
I am terrible with names. Bill Lyon says Syracuse, New York. Just shout out your city. Dean says yes. James Strickland says yes. Tim Boo says yes. Manuel says change the offensive line, and then with the Dolphins. Funny enough, and I know, listen, I'm not backing the offensive line by any stretch of the imagination here. I think they stink. But I will say, according to PFF, yeah, I know PFF, they actually are like the 6th ranked team through 3 weeks in terms of total pass protection, which has caught me by surprise a little bit. But it is what it is. They also have Terron Armstead as the 4th highest graded offensive tackle in football. Kind of misleading as well. He's been out for, I guess, 3 or 4 quarters of the first 12 it is. And they also have Aaron Brewer, the center, ranked 7th on the PFF center list, which I actually do like Aaron Brewer. I think he's been good. Other interesting guys, Terron Armstead, 61. But also, when you have 2 starting tackles, Cullen, on 32 teams, that's out of 64.
Right.
So 61 for Terron Armstead, or excuse me, Austin Jackson. No bueno.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Somebody in the chat, Tim, I believe, saying Russell Wilson as a potential QB target for the Dolphins.
Out.
I don't think so.
Out.
Either.
Couldn't be more out. Is he better than Tyler Huntley, Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle? Yes. But I do not want him because he would not want to be a backup in Miami. So he would be benched for Tua. And I also don't think he would fit in this locker room. He's corny. I'm not a fan of him. That's just how it works. All right, we don't really usually have a super chat menu for our weekly live shows. We want to keep it low key. Any donations to the channel is appreciated as it helps us grow, and we'll have a lot of fun. But today, you know what? $50 super chat. We'll take down a beer bong. And I'll also say this, Cullen. Not that it has to be $50, but any super chat is fun because we actually are testing something out today, folks. We have a new graphic for super chats to show on the channel. We've had some issues doing that lately because of our software changing and kind of getting screwed in a way. Yep. But we have a new graphic that I want to test out for the super chat. So not saying you have to, but a $50 super chat will take down a beer bong, but any super chat will be shown on screen in a brand new way that we've never done here at the channel. So if you want to see what it looks like, listen, I've never seen it. Producer Colin said the producers had a meeting earlier today, and they were discussing it. So I'm intrigued to see what it looks like. If we want to have a super chat, we'll show it on screen in a new brand new way that we've never had before. But as we continue here in our pre-show process, who should start in Week 4 against the Titans on Monday Night Football? Say all of them are healthy. Skylar Thompson gets cleared in the next 48 hours with that chest injury, and he could go on Monday. Who would you start? Would it be Skylar? Type ST. Would it be Tim Boyle? Type TB. Would it be Tyler Huntley? Type your THs. Let me know who you think should start. I'll tell you right now, I would go with Tyler Huntley, but let's see what the real ones have to say. If they make no quarterback move, Cullen, who should start?
Tyler Huntley, easily. There's one Pro Bowl quarterback on this list, Mr. Roll.
Yeah, Pro Bowl quarterback there, baby. Can't deny it. Pro Bowl quarterback. We got XX saying Huntley, Nathan Huntley, Black, Jack Green saying Huntley, Bizarro Huntley, Aguero Huntley, Black Widow Huntley, Daniel Huntley, Dean Huntley, Michael Huntley, F1 Huntley, Chad Jones sticking with Skylar Thompson. Chad. He was bad on Sunday, dude. I can't take it anymore. Paul and Isaac rocking with Huntley. So is Tim Boo. Rex says, can Achane throw a ball? No, but let's run Wildcat. Tyreek Hill, Achane, and Jalen Waddle in the backfield every play. Let's see what happens. Bill saying Huntley. Scott. I watched the Skylar Thompson film earlier today, all 22, and it is ugly. Between the play designs, honestly. Some of them, there was one play that Skylar Thompson got sacked for an 8-yard loss early third quarter, I believe. They were in the Seahawks 36-yard line and got sacked for a loss of 8. Thompson takes the snap, looks left. The play is designed to go left. They've got Achane running like a wheel route on the sideline. They have Tyreek Hill running on the far left on a little in streak, a 9, and then they've got Jonnu Smith kind of running a little dig route over the middle of the field. And it was designed actually perfectly in this scenario because the far left corner, it was a zone coverage from Seattle. Took Hill running up. You have Jonnu Smith occupying the middle linebacker in the zone on the left side. And Skylar Thompson looks left, sees it, pulls it down, but he could have ripped a little throw to the sticks 10 yards on the left hash and hit Achane up the sideline. Not saying it would have went for a touchdown, but it would have been probably a 10, 15-yard gain, but he holds on to it, comes back to the middle, and then gets sacked. Like, he looks left, sees it, and you got to rip it, dude. You got what you wanted to get there. But then there's some other plays, too, where they've got Tyreek Hill, and there's one specifically that stood out. Hill and Smith running a two-man combination on the left side of the field. But on the right side of the field, Jalen Waddle and Braxton Berrios are both running streak routes to the same spot. Did one of them F up the play? Why are they both running streaks? It's an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. They need no more Skylar Thompson, no more Tim Boyle, no more. Honestly, Mike McDaniel's got to pick it up. We've talked about this.
How is Tim Boyle in the league, by the way?
He's terrible.
He's so bad.
He is horrible. That's all I know. But all I know is that we also have have to hit that like button. We have 150 people watching right now. Appreciate all the real ones. Want to get the show started? Hit that thumbs up button. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. News, rumors, injury stuff. We're going to do a Q&A as well, and why I believe Tyler Huntley must start for the Miami Dolphins in order to save the season in 24-25. But you first have to hit that thumbs up icon. We're at 150. We got to get to 70 likes. We have to get to 70. That's almost 50%. Not fully 50%, but damn near 50%. Hit that like button. We can start today's show. We have a lot to talk about. First thing you should do when you come into the stream should be liking that video. Come on, folks. It's not the hardest thing in the world. If no one wants to see the new Super Chat graphic, that's cool. But I would like to see that like number go up. We're at 33 still. That can't happen. 33? 150 people watching. Let's go.
It's like a little over 20% of the audience right there, man.
That's nothing. That's a terrible percentage. Hit that thumbs up button. Come on, folks.
Hit that like button.
I need you. You want the Dolphins to win this week, too. You got to start the vibes off right on our Tuesday live show, hitting that like button. There's 39, little up, but we got to get to 70 here, folks.
70 is very doable. And it's free. And it greatly
That's
helps
what I'm saying. Free content every day, free live shows. Like, what isn't there to like? What isn't there? Derek, we appreciate you being very enthusiastic in the chat, my friend, spamming those Tyler Huntleys, but you don't need to continue to spam. you can let some other people have the ability to comment, and so I can see it rather than all I'm seeing is Derek Washington THs. So if you could stop spamming it, that would be greatly appreciated. If not, we'll have to have a conversation. Derek, I know you're pumped up for this Tuesday live show. I need you to comment down a little bit in the chat. All right, we're 50 likes. We have 160 people watching now. Hit that thumbs up button. We're not starting until we get to 70 likes. And we have a lot of fun things to talk about, man. The news, the rumors, the injury topics. Tua Tagovailoa, a little bit of an update. Answer your questions. Why Tyler Huntley must start, but we got to get 20 more likes. Juice WRLD saying this is great content, to be honest. I appreciate you. 18 likes away. Come on, hit that thumbs up button. We're not starting until we get to 70. 15 away. Let's go. Come on, folks. Let's get fired up. Let's start the vibes right here on a Tuesday in a big week for Miami. Yeah. Season could ultimately be over if we lose to the Titans at home. I get it, no Tua, but you're 1-3. Might be done. What's up, Barry B, my guy? How's it going, my friend?
Let's get it.
How's it going? Mike Segura saying like the video. Absolutely. 69 likes. Very nice. But we do need to get to 70. That's minimum. Barry B, I'll get to your message. I just saw your message. I don't know why Barry B won the MVP on Sunday, and I have to get his information to send it out to him. I don't know why I didn't get a notification when you sent me that DM yesterday, Barry B, but I just saw it now because I wanted to look, and we'll get that in the works here, Barry B. But all right, we do have a mailbag coming up after this segment, by the way, so super chat to get into that mailbag or hashtag Dolphins. But for now, we're going to talk about the latest news and rumors surrounding the Miami Dolphins after Mike McDaniel's press conference earlier today. I am Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports, and we have a lot to talk about in terms of injury news and who is going to start at quarterback for Miami this Monday night against the Tennessee Titans at home in Week 4, because there is a lot of uncertainty at quarterback. Mike McDaniel could not stayed a starter right now. And he did say that one will be likely named over the next 24, 48 hours because he believes it is a benefit to the team to have a clear-cut starter with them getting first-team reps throughout the week of practice. And I completely agree, but it's all a question about who Mike McDaniel is going to name. Well, Skylar Thompson, who started last week and left in the third quarter with a chest injury, is labeled as day-to-day by head coach Mike McDaniel. And I think it's important to know where he is at, but if we're also going to be honest here, folks, and I mean this personally, I said before week 3 I didn't have faith in Skylar Thompson, and I feel like I was vindicated in a way because he performed very, very poorly, and really so did that entire offense on Sunday against Seattle. But I don't think even if he is fully healthy, he should be starting at home against the Tennessee Titans because he just did not show me enough positive things to take away from to where I can feel confident about him winning a game against the Tennessee Titans, who is one of the best pass defenses in all football, by the way, and one of the best defenses entirely. I think you need to go with the more experienced guy who has had more success on this roster, which is Tyler Huntley, which we'll talk more about here in just a second. But do share this video, by the way, and I have a fun little game to play here. Every 20 shares we get on this show, I'm going to go on a mile run, which means if you get 40 shares on this show, I'm going to do a 2-mile run. I'll post it on our community page, the proof that I actually got this done. But share this video to a friend or family member for them to get more informed because there's a lot of Dolphins news in this show. All right, when we talk about the quarterback situation moving forward, Mike McDaniel said that Huntley or Tim Boyle could start. Didn't rule out Skylar Thompson just yet, but I do feel like with him being up in the air in terms of his status and being day-to-day, it's likely going to be one of Tyler Huntley or Tim Boyle. And I get it. Tim Boyle's been on this roster for longer than Tyler Huntley. He has been here since the start of the season on the Dolphins practice squad, got signed the day before the Week 3 game off the practice squad to the 53-man. But you signed Tyler Huntley off the Ravens practice squad for a reason. He's the more experienced quarterback, having a 3-6 career record as a starter. Tim Boyle, he's 0-5. Skylar Thompson now 1-3 after this past week, including a couple of his starts in 2022. Huntley has had more productive numbers. He's also had more wins, granted with a good roster over in Baltimore that has an offense tailor-made to his skill set. But I still don't think that it's that crazy to believe that he can run this offense. And Mike McDaniel at the press conference today, said that he has some packages for Huntley because it's very similar to the RG3 offense he was running schematically when he was a coach on that Commanders team, or Redskins at the time, in 2013. So there are definitely plays in scheme points in this offense that are tailor-made for Tyler Huntley. But McDaniel also did say there is a possibility of adding another quarterback to this roster. Now, would that quarterback potentially be starting in Week 4 against the Titans? Absolutely not. It'd be one of the 3 guys currently on the active 53-man. But I do find it intriguing that there are at least conversations, and Chris Grier is potentially looking into adding another guy, and who could they possibly release? Well, you might see the end of Skylar Thompson in the 305, or maybe it's Tim Boyle getting put back to the practice squad or released all in general. But there is a possibility that Miami goes out and adds a quarterback. I doubt it would be a trade of some sort because I've mentioned this on yesterday's show. If you trade for a quarterback, you'd only get them for 2 starts. Assuming Tua plays in Week 8 against Arizona when he's eligible to, he wouldn't play this week, so you'd only get him in Week 5 against New England. You have a bye in Week 6, and then you have a Week 7 in Indianapolis. So I don't really see them adding a quarterback via trade, but maybe they go out and sign one. Be the GM for me. Be Chris Grier. Should the Dolphins add another quarterback to the active 53-man roster? If you think they should, type your Y's. If you think they're all good and should stick with the 3 they currently have, type your N for no's. All right, let's continue some talking points on quarterbacks here because Tua Tagovailoa is actually meeting with some neurologists this week. And it was reported that he was going to meet with neurologists last week. But ultimately, the plan, according to Mike McDaniel, was always for Tua to have those meetings this week. Now, I don't know if it was a schedule mix-up or what happened last week, but either way, Tua's meeting here and this week. So this is where they're going to develop a plan for when Tua can return and when he will be able to be on the football field again, so stay alert for those potential updates on QB1. But I do have to imagine he is going to try to return in Week 8 against the Cardinals when he's eligible to, just due to the fact that he traveled with the team to Seattle, was on the sideline in a hostile environment. Why wouldn't he be able to go in Week 8, 4 weeks from now, 5 weeks from the injury actually occurring, if he was already traveling with the team in the locker room and on the sidelines on Sunday? I believe Tua is going to play in Week 8 against Arizona, but we'll see what him and the neurologist come up with when they meet this week. Let's talk about some more injury news surrounding the Miami Dolphins on these two players. More concussion possibilities for Miami. Terron Armstead, the left tackle, and Kendall Fuller, the cornerback, both left Week 3's game against Seattle in the first half, did not return, and Mike McDaniel said they were both in the concussion protocol at his press conference today. And that is big news for Miami because they need both of these guys. Kendall Lamb did a fine job actually stepping in at left tackle this past week. He did not do a good job against Buffalo on Thursday Night Football, but that game was already out of hand. I like what I saw from Lamb. Graded out pretty nicely according to Pro Football Focus as well, but Armstead just is a different breed. Through 3 weeks, although he's missed about 4 quarters of play, he's the 4th graded or highest graded offensive tackle in football. That's pretty dang good. And when it comes to Kendall Fuller, you really need him. Not that the Titans have some elite passing attack. They do have a good pair of wide receivers in D-Hop and Calvin Ridley, but just look at your other options. If Fuller goes down, your boundary corners are looking at Storm Duck, the UDFA, who's injured, or you're going to have start Ethan Bonner. I'm not too big of a fan of those possibilities, so having both of them play would be great. Having none of them play would be a disaster, and I really do hope that Kendall Fuller is going to be able to go for Miami this week. But we'll ultimately have to see if he is. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel because when that news comes out on their statuses for Week 4 against the Tennessee Titans, we will have you covered. Hit that sub button halfway home to 61K. Join the channel as we have daily Dolphins content. I had some injury news as well on Odell Beckham Jr. This is actually pretty positive. Mike McDaniel asked about OBJ, who this is the last week that a handful of players are going to be mandated to miss, by the way. Remember, if you're on the PUP list to start the year or placed on IR to start right before the season, like River Craycraft was and Cam Smith, you're missed the first 4 games. Well, this is Week 4. So after this week, Cam Smith, River Craycraft, Bradley Chubb, Cam Brown, and Odell Beckham Jr. are all eligible to start practicing. Now, I don't know if they will practice. I don't know if they will play in Week 5, but Mike McDaniel is optimistic that OBJ will practice when his window opens this upcoming Monday after Week 4, and there has been no setback so far for the wide receiver. And that's good because Miami absolutely needs Odell Beckham Jr. back as soon as possible because the production Miami has had outside of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle has been absolutely horrific. Malik Washington has yet to make his season debut. Braxton Berrios has done absolutely nothing. And then with Grant DuBose placed on IR, the wide receiver depth is very, very thin. Braxton Berrios has done 0 things for the Dolphins offense. No catches. And he can't get open to save his life. And if I'm going to be honest, once Malik Washington is back, I'd consider cutting Braxton Berrios. He's been horrible. And he's done some cool things on special teams. He had a nice 40-yard punt return on Sunday against the Seahawks. But you could have Malik Washington play that role when he is officially healthy and back. Braxton Berrios has been a non-factor for this team. I'd cut bait if you believe Malik Washington can handle his role. Make sure you do get this Dolphins quarter zip so you can represent the Miami Dolphins anywhere, whether you're going to a nice dinner, whether you're on the golf course, whether you're just hanging with some friends. This Q-zip has the versatility, the old school logo. I have this one specifically, that little charcoal black. I love it. On sale, chatsports.com/Dolphins Q-zip. Make sure you get yours today. Link's going to be in the description and comments of today's video. I want to round out the show with a positive note. We talked about good injury news on Odell Beckham Jr., but how about this fun little tidbit on potentially having Tyler Huntley being your starting quarterback in Week 4? Jalen Waddle was at his presser today and was asked about potentially having a rapport, chemistry with Tyler Huntley if he started. Well, there actually is some there because Waddle and Huntley trained together, not a bunch, but at times in South Florida. Huntley is from South Florida. Waddle training here. They got some passing and work together, which means there's at least some type of chemistry there, which is very, very positive. And to me, this just hammer homes the point and the choice that Huntley needs to be your starting quarterback. He just does. He has the most experience, not in this offense, but in the National Football League. He's had the most success. He started a damn playoff game like Skylar Thompson did for the Baltimore Ravens. To me, there should be no questions asked about who is the starting quarterback on this roster. It is Tyler Huntley for Week 4, and I would be disappointed with any other decision made by Mike McDaniel. But let me know who you think should start down in the comments section. Should it be Huntley? That's who I believe. Let me know. Type your THs if you think he should start. Type TB if you think it's Tim Boyle. Or type your STs if you believe it should be Skylar Thompson. And when that announcement is official, likely coming over the next few days, we will break it down and have a video for you. So make sure you are subscribed and make sure you have your notifications turned on as well so you never miss a beat of Miami Dolphins news, because even though the season's off to a rough start, we ain't going anywhere, and we're going to be live for every Dolphins game as well, so join the channel. All right, one segment down. Let me know who you think should start.
It's a good question.
Let me know. Oh, I see a lot of Tyler Huntleys. Some Tim Tebow's. Some Tim Tebow's. That's funny. That's funny. Oh. I'm such a D-bag to my friend. So we're both Mets fans, and big series ahead between the Mets and Braves. And I sent him a tweet from April of one of our star players having surgery.
Yeah.
And I literally and he's back playing with the team now, very pivotal. And I just sent him the tweet and said, no. And then he thinks it actually happened, clicks into the tweet and realizes it from April. Hilarious stuff. Maybe it's just funny to me. We see a lot of Huntleys, Kristen Reinhardt, Mosey, Nathan, Bill, Dean, Chad Jones rocking with Skylar Thompson. Chad, I get it that he is committed to Skylar, but how much do we have to see of Skylar Thompson being horrible before we realize that he can't be the quarterback anymore? That's what I want to know.
Fair question.
Because I'm sick of it. I can't take Skylar Thompson anymore. I can't do it. He's terrible. Huntley at least provides some excitement. Oh. All right. We want to do a mailbag coming up here in just a second. But make sure you get your questions in. Hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat. Super Chat guarantees you to get a question on our show. Hashtag Dolphins gets you in line and gets you up to the mercy of great producer Colin. But if you want to guarantee your question to be on the mailbag, Super Chat. You could ask about injury news, trade rumors, other rumors. You could ask about anything about the Miami Dolphins. I'll try to give you my best answer. We also have a new Super Chat graphic that I really want to test out.
Yep.
And
it's really cool.
He says it's cool. I haven't seen it. I am very excited to see. Literally any Super Chat, we get to pop up the graphic. I'd love to be able to bring it up.
Yeah.
I'd love to. But make sure you get those questions in, hashtag Seahawks, or we could test out that new Super Chat graphic to see what it looks like. I would love to get Sam Howell, but I don't think that's possible. Good question from Satori GL. That's going to be in the mailbag for sure.
Yeah, we've got, let's see, including Sats, we have 2 questions right now.
We have 2 questions.
Yeah, we need more. We need some more.
Michael, question. Good one. We'll answer. We'll answer that one. So we got 3 questions right now.
That we do.
Fins for life. Good question. Good question.
Excuse me.
Got to get a couple more to get this mailbag underway. 162 people watching. Shout out to all of you on this Tuesday afternoon. This one's Fanatics too, right?
It is.
Okay.
It is indeed.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
No, Yader. He is not. Ryan Tannehill is technically still on the market.
I have 4 questions now.
We got 4 questions. We got to get at least 6 to start. At least 6.
At least.
Can we get 2 more questions? Hashtag Dolphins.
Be any question you want.
Tory Dixon question.
It's 5.
Can we get a couple more? Barry B. Use hashtag Dolphins or Super Chat to get that question on the mailbag. Tim Boo gets a good question in there. All right, we got 6.
We got a couple from Tim.
We got a couple from Tim.
I can see it.
Man, Dolphins fans really don't like Bryce Young. It's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah.
It is pretty funny. I respect it.
Respect.
Couple questions coming in. All right, love it. All right, I think we have enough questions to get in. Still bummed that we have yet to get a super chat. I really want to see the new graphic, Colin. I mean this is like when you see it on the screen will also be the first time I see it.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think it's cool. The only person here at Dolphins Today that knows what it's going to look like is Colin. I'd like to see.
It's pretty cool.
I don't want to wait till our Monday game. Hey! All right, let's show this before we get in because I want to see what it looks like.
Okay. Let's see if I can get it pulled up.
We got our first super chat. Shout out to Barry B, the man, the myth, the legend. This will also be on our mailbag.
Okay. Why is it now not loading? Give me a
Oh,
second.
no.
Okay, no.
Colin?
Technical issues. Hold on. Give me a second.
Colin is teasing me.
Give me a second. I got to pull this up.
He said this was foolproof, Colin.
It was. I never said that. Never said that.
Colin.
Give me a second.
Colin's going to work on fixing whatever is fixing. I'm going to be disappointed. But while we do wait, we do have 99 likes. Can we get the triple ditch? Who's going to be that 100th like? Who's going to be that 100th like? There we go. Someone got us to 100. Let's go. Let's go. Huge. Huge for the program. Huge. What? We hit 100. Shout out to you. Chad, the team is not done for the year. We should not. We don't tank either. No tanking. We're not shooting for the number 1 pick. We're not doing that. None of that.
All right. Technical difficulties.
Fixed?
We're back. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Bam.
Oh, look at this.
Look at that.
Look at this.
Look at that.
I think this is cool. You got the icon. You got the amount. The text.
Also, just a cool note. So, you know how you have colors in the YouTube
Yeah,
chat?
the color is cool, too.
Yeah, so it matches whatever color you donate with. So, you know how, like, certain amounts get to certain colors?
Yeah.
It'll show that color, along with the name, the super chat, and, of course, the question.
That is really cool. So, like, obviously, if you send in 100, that's red. So that would be red then.
Yep, it would.
And then orange is 20s, so that would be orange. That little pinkish is 50, so that would be 50. That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool.
Again, still kind of in the beta process, but here we go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Constantly evolving here at Chat Sport.
Constantly
Appreciate
evolving.
your super chat, Barry.
Appreciate you, Barry B. All right. Now, with that being said, let's jump into this mailbag, baby. Jump into this Dolphins Today mailbag. Welcome to Miami Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. Today's show is a mailbag before Week 4. A couple days away from the Dolphins hosting the Tennessee Titans on Monday Night Football, and I wanted to come up here and answer some questions from the real ones. But first, make sure you're following us on Instagram. At Dolphins Today IG is our handle. We are less than 100 followers away from 500, and I want to get there as soon as possible. We post daily content over there in between our videos here on the channel. So if you want to be up to date on everything surrounding the Dolphins, follow us on Instagram and make sure you're subscribed. All right, first question incoming from Barry B, who jumped the line with a $2 super chat. Cam Ward, whoopsie, did he actually knock something down there? Next year. Obviously, Cam Ward has had a terrific start to the season for the Miami Hurricanes as they are continuing to surge up the AP poll, top 10 in the NCAA world. And here's my thing. As much as I would love Cam Ward in a Dolphins uni, keeping him in the 305, I don't see it as feasible because with Tua, who will be entering his 4-year contract extension next year will be year 1. You're going to at least play that out 1 or 2 years before you draft a quarterback in the first round to potentially replace him. And I think Cam Ward will ultimately go in the top 10, top 15 of the NFL draft. And this roster just has too many needs outside of quarterback to waste a top 10, top 15 pick potentially if they were selecting there on a quarterback. Like they need to get the offensive line shored up in the interior, on the outside, potentially finding a long-term replacement for Austin Jackson or Terron Armstead if you didn't think Patrick Paul was it, or getting a more lockdown interior defensive lineman, or even a replacement for potentially Javon Holland, who's a free agent this year. So to me, I don't think using a first-round pick on Cam Ward would be worth it. Now, if you want to draft a quarterback in round 2 or round 3, because you're going to have 2 comp picks at the end of the 3rd round, thanks to Robert Hunt and Christian Wilkins, that I'm in on. But Cam Ward's going to be a first-round pick, and I would not use a first-rounder on a QB if I was the Dolphins. All right, we'll move over to Tim Boo here with a question. Should Mike McDaniel stop calling the plays? It was horrible play calling. I would agree. I think he was terrible against the Seattle Seahawks. They need to run the football more. It's like Sandra Bullock in The Blind Side. Run the dang ball. That's got to be the Miami Dolphins with Devon Achane this upcoming week because they were actually effective in running in between the tackles, up the middle. The Miami Dolphins average 4.8 yards per carry. 13th in the NFL. So they are a top half NFL football team when running it up the middle with Devon Achane and others. Why aren't we doing that more? They barely run the football. And sure, they've had issues running it in the red zone and inside the 10-yard line, but why can't we, at least in between the 20s, run it up the middle, and then, especially with 2 out, then you get in your play-action game a little bit more. You need to become a run-first football team, and to me, Mike McDaniel, in the first game without Tua, first full game, did not put enough emphasis on running the football. Tried to throw it like he had Tua back there still, and you simply don't got that. Start Tyler Huntley this week, and then run a lot more running plays, and you have an option to have read options as well with Huntley, and you'll become a more layered offense. Who you got this week? Type MIA for the Dolphins, type TEN for the Titans. As of filming this mailbag, we are currently 1-point favorites. I'll actually take the Dolphins. I think they win this game. Will Levis is horrible. The offensive line for Tennessee is even worse. And their defense is good, but I'll take the Dolphins at home in a tight one. My guy Chad Jones with a question. Our team is done this year. Shouldn't we shoot for the number 1 pick? Well, I don't think the season is done, Chad Jones. I don't. And even though Tua's still going to miss the next 3 games at minimum, those 3 games are against really bad football teams. At home against the Titans, on the road against the Patriots, bye week in week 6, and then on the road against the Indianapolis Colts. Those 3 are bottom 5 football teams in the NFL, without a question. And now you might say, without Tua, maybe the Dolphins are a bottom 5 football team. And you might be right, based on how they looked against the Seahawks. But if they're playing 3 bottom 5 football teams over the next 3 weeks, then there is a chance they can win 2 or 3 of those games. And if you win 2 of the next 3, you're looking at a 2, or was that? It'd be a 3-3 record when Tua returns. Your season's not over there. And if you go 3-0, you got a 4-2 record with Tua coming back. And the season's definitely not over there. So as long as you go 2-1 over the next 3, season's not done when Tagovailoa returns in week 8. And I believe that the Dolphins still can make the playoffs in an AFC conference that does not look as good as advertised right now. A lot of teams 1-2 or 0-3. All right, we got my guy Satori GL coming in here. Should the Bryce Young, do you think we should trade for Bryce Young? I was open to the idea initially, but the Panthers don't want to trade Bryce Young. They've said that. They're committed to him as their backup right now after Andy Dalton balled out against the Raiders in week 3. I also don't think it would be smart to trade for a quarterback because if you traded for a QB, you'd only get 2 starts out of him. If you were to make a move for a quarterback, that should have came last week before week 3, because then you would have still gotten him for week 4, week 5, and week 7. But with that bye week in there and Tua coming back hopefully in week 8, there is no need to trade for a quarterback to only get 2 weeks out of him. Start Tyler Huntley, and I believe Huntley will be able to get the job done in the next couple of weeks to at least where you pull off a couple wins against bad rosters. Make sure you hit that sub button because we're currently losing our subscriber battle against the Tennessee Titans channel, Titans Today. If we want to beat our opponent on the field on Monday, we need to beat them in our sub battle. We didn't beat Seahawks today, and we got smoked. Correlation? Likely. Hit that sub button because we also do post daily content and go live for every Dolphins game. Tori Dixon with a question. What 3 positions would you prioritize next draft? Number 1, offensive line. No questions asked. Whether it be another offensive tackle, whether it be an interior guy. Remember, folks, some of you got after me, but I said back in April when I graded the Chop Robinson pick at 21st overall as a C+, some of you got on me for that. And I like Chop Robinson, the player. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him. But what did I say the Dolphins should have done at 21? Graham Barton, the interior offensive lineman from Duke. Don't think he would have been helpful right now, right? No more Robert Jones. No more Liam Eichenberg, potentially. I think the Dolphins missed the window there. So if you're looking next draft, it's got to be offensive line number 1. I'd probably put defensive line number 2 because you're going to need a long-term guy with Calais Campbell being on the outs potentially soon on the interior. And then I'd put number 3 either at backup quarterback. I think you need to draft one on day 2 in the 2nd or 3rd round, or safety to potentially replace Javon Holland if he ultimately leaves in free agency, as he is an unrestricted free agent. But maybe the Dolphins use the franchise tag on Holland. That's possible too. But those are my 3.5 positions. Offensive and defensive line, 1, 2, backup QB, safety, 3, 4. Nathan with a question. Do you think the Dolphins coaching needs some rework? What would you like to see different since the horrible performance? Well, I think the special teams needs to get better. I'll say this, and I'll start here. Danny Crossman, he needs to be better. Too many penalties on special teams, whether it be when the Dolphins were punting the football or returning and receiving the punt. Just an absolute disaster on that side of it. And I said that Mike McDaniel may need to give up play calling, but I'm not there yet. I'd like to see a couple more weeks of Mike McDaniel. I'll tell you this, if that offense continues to struggle, granted without Tua, I don't care. We just saw the Panthers go to their backup quarterback in Andy Dalton, and they scored 36 points. So it is possible to score points in the NFL with a backup quarterback. Mike McDaniel needs to be better over the next couple weeks, or the chatter around him potentially having to give up play calling will absolutely grow louder and louder. But off the top of my head, Danny Crossman and special teams needs to be much better. Right now, the best coach on the staff, it's Anthony Weaver. He's been terrific on the defensive side of the football field for the first 3 weeks, for the most part. Bill's a little iffy, but rest weeks 1 and 3, pretty solid if you ask me. Make sure you get this Dolphins Q-Zip to represent the Dolphins on game days, when you're out shopping, golfing, to dinner. It doesn't matter. That's why I love quarter zips. They're so versatile. Chatsports.com/Dolphins Q-Zip. Get this sweet thing. They have also multiple colors: aqua, orange, black, white. Awesome old school logo. Get it right now. Chatsports.com/Dolphins Q-Zip. Riley Shea coming in with a question. #Dolphins. Given the state of the Dolphins and Raiders, which team favored to win in November? Well, we would anticipate, as long as Tua doesn't suffer any setbacks and he returns relatively close to that Week 8 eligibility time, Tua will be back. The Raiders are a bad football team, even though it's in Las Vegas, I believe. Or is it in Miami? I don't remember. I think it's actually in Miami. I'll take the Dolphins to win that game. I don't think the Raiders are good whatsoever. They just got boat raced by the Panthers at home. Give me the Dolphins because I think Tua will be back. Daniel Dawson with a question. Are we nothing without Tua? Well, the numbers are staggering, Daniel. And as we've seen this team, as much as people want to say Tyreek Hill and Mike McDaniel made Tua, well, the numbers without Tua for Mike McDaniel have been pretty bad. I believe it's 1-7. The offense has really struggled to score. And I also put a lot of blame on Mike McDaniel for this. He has obviously given the okay to Chris Greer that I'm fine with Skylar Thompson being the backup quarterback. I think he could execute my offense. Well, Mike, he can't. He stinks. And I am sick and tired of watching Skylar Thompson play. Nothing without Tua. That's a little aggressive, but I do believe they need to find a backup quarterback that's better than Thompson. Maybe it's Tyler Huntley, and hopefully Tua can stay healthy when he returns because it's been ugly without him over the past couple of seasons. Dolphins do play the Titans on Monday Night Football. We asked who you got, but give me your confidence level in a win this Monday. Even though I picked the Dolphins to win this game, I can't say I'm a lot of confident or very confident. I'll give it an even 5.1, just above 5. Gabriel, where's the cheetah motion? Well, they've still ran a lot of motion, Gabriel. I believe the number I saw today was 84.7% of plays for the Dolphins have featured motion. That's second highest in the NFL, I believe only trailing the New Orleans Saints. Correct me if I'm wrong in there, but I know they're second in the NFL. I just can't remember if it was the Saints or not higher. They've run a lot with Clint Kubiak as their OC. They've had in motion quite a bit. They just haven't really scripted him open, and he hasn't got open as much as he has in the past. But I do expect them to continue to run that motion-styled offense, Gabriel, and hopefully they're able to get Tyreek Hill more involved because, 3 catches for 40 yards on Sunday against the Seahawks? That's flat out unacceptable. I don't care who's at quarterback. Find him the football. He is your best playmaker. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Like I said off the top, make sure you're following us on Instagram at Dolphins Today IG. We're posting content in between each video every single day. We're under 100 followers from 500. Help us out. It would mean a ton. And I'll see you tomorrow in another video. Go Fins. All right, 2 segments down, 1 to go.
1 to go.
What's your confidence level in a win? Chad is very pessimistic this week, saying 1. Michael says 6. Ken says 4.5. Robert 7.6. NFL Therapy says a full 10. That's good for you.
Yeah. By the way, to that question earlier, the Dolphins are at home versus the Raiders.
Yeah, I knew they were. Okay. I just had a quick second of doubt there. Then you guys heard me says, wait, I think they're actually at home.
All good.
I figured it out. Devo at an 8. Tim's at a 5. Jamie's at a 3. Cheesemonger's at 6.8. I respect the no rookie scores. The decimals make me happy.
Decimals make me happy.
Cullen, random question. What are you doing for dinner tonight?
Dinner? Ooh, I got some leftover spaghetti that I'm going to probably eat.
Oh, spaghetti and meatballs?
No, just spaghetti.
Spaghetti?
Just spaghetti.
That's kind of lame.
It is.
You can't really have just spaghetti.
I did.
You tell me there's no protein?
None.
So you're just eating raw dog in the pasta?
Sure.
That's psychotic.
I just didn't have time to make any meatballs, man. Didn't have any meat in
Are
the fridge or in the
you
freezer.
living by yourself?
No.
No.
Okay. I live at home still, saving up, trying to pay off student loans.
Chad, I'm not. Chad, what response you talk? I know you predicted the Dolphins to go 8-9 this season.
He was talking a lot in the chat during that segment. Obviously.
Chad was?
Yes.
I didn't see his response.
Yeah, he was.
I know you predicted 8-9, Chad, and I disagreed with you, but maybe you might be right. I also didn't forecast Tua getting hurt.
He said we'll be lucky to win 6 games this season.
Chad, do you believe what? Okay, we'll start here, because the Dolphins are confirmed to be without Tua for 3 more games against the against the Colts, the Titans, and the Patriots. Maybe I'm optimistic, but I feel very confident to say the Dolphins will go 2-1 in those games.
It's pretty good, pretty realistic.
Like those 3 teams are terrible. So if they go 2-1, they're 3-3 with Tua coming back. Season's not over.
Chad says 1-2.
Chad says 1-2.
I said get rid of Barrios before the season.
He stinks. He's terrible. Chad, if you did say that, you were right, because he's horrible. Devo says, do the Dolphins have extra picks this upcoming draft or the standard 1 through 7? They'll have more than 7 this year because, actually, I'll pull up the exact reasonings, but they actually have more than 7. They will have more than 7 because they have their standard first and second round pick. They don't have their third because they traded it to get Jalen Wright, remember? But they will get 2 third-round picks because of comp. They get comp picks back because of Robert Hunt and Christian Wilkins both signing a $100 million deal plus. They do not have a 4th-round pick. I'm unsure if they'll get a comp pick for that. They have their own 5th round. They have 2 6th rounds, their own, and then the one from Chicago when they tried Dan Feeney to the Bears last year, and their own 7. So they will technically, at least right now, have more than 7 picks for this upcoming draft. They'll have 2 third-round picks. They'll have 2 6th-round picks. And then as of right now, no 4th. I'm unsure if they'll get a comp pick for that. But I can guarantee they get 2 third rounds for Robert Hunt and Christian Wilkins. Did I argue on that, Chad? On Berrios? Maybe I did. I don't know. It's a long offseason. I think I might have argued the fact that you said he needs to be cut, and I said he will make the roster. Maybe that's what I did. I don't know if I ever backed Braxton Berrios saying he's a good wide receiver. I said he's valuable on special teams. I think I know I said that.
Yeah, I think I did a video where you mentioned
But I don't think I ever said he was a good wide receiver. I always knew he was going to be our 4th or 5th guy, and no 5th wide receiver is good. Like, in an ideal world, if the Dolphins were healthy, they'd have OBJ, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Malik Washington as your 4, and then Braxton Berrios as your 5, which is okay by me. But Berrios having to be your wide receiver 3 is a disaster.
Yeah.
Disaster.
It's not good.
Not great, Jim. Not great at all.
Oh, man.
All right, let me check my phone.
No breaking news.
No news. How about, by the way, quick sidebar before we start this final segment. Yeah. Mac Jones getting an opportunity last night and, fumbling right away.
Right away. He's cooked.
Terrible.
He's cooked. Well, everybody in Jacksonville's cooked. You could argue Trevor, maybe if they get the coach right, he could be serviceable. But given the expectations he came in with, he's bad. Chad
says hire Jim Harbaugh. Might be a little bit late for that. might be a little late for that.
Ryan's saying go after Zach Taylor as an OC if he gets fired from the Bengals.
Maybe in.
That's interesting.
Listen, I'll have to see how this year unfolds for the offense. Not ready to call it on the Mike McDaniel, Frank Smith duo yet. 2 of the best offenses in the NFL over the last 2 seasons. Rough start this year. Let's see if they can rebound. All right, with that being said, though, let's get into the final segment here. Why I think Tyler Huntley needs to start for the Dolphins in Week 4 at home against the Tennessee Titans. All right, let me pull up the script so I can just get there. All right, let's do it. The Miami Dolphins need to announce Tyler Huntley as the starter for Week 4 against the Tennessee Titans. And I expect Mike McDaniel to make a formal announcement over the next 48 hours, but I believe it has to be Tyler Huntley. You signed him off the Ravens practice squad, a week ago. And with the play of Tim Boyle and Skylar Thompson against the Seattle Seahawks, you just simply need to make a change because they were terrible. And I keep on bringing up the QBR. It was absolutely abysmal. And I know it's a rating from ESPN, but it's on a scale of 1 to 100. And for both of these quarterbacks to be in the 10s is an absolute disgrace to quarterback play. And I watched the film. I watched every drop back that Skylar Thompson had in the All-22. There was sloppiness in terms of his ability to make a quick decision and rip it to an open receiver coming open. There was not good play designs at times as well, some poor blocking, but one thing can be certain. There was not adequate football and quarterback play from Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle, and I believe you would see much better play from Tyler Huntley, and I'll explain why in just a second. But there is a chance that it is going to be Huntley. I don't think Skylar Thompson can be ready to go. He left that game in the third quarter with a chest injury. Mike McDaniel on his Tuesday press conference said if he is not ready to play, it's likely going to be Boyle or Huntley. But there is 48 hours here to realize if Thompson or is going to be able to go. And Mike McDaniel also mentioned that he believes it is very critical to announce the QB1 heading into Week 4 against the Titans so they can get all the first-team reps this upcoming week. So whenever the decision is made, it will be final. There will be no QB battle this week to see who should be the starter. McDaniel's going to make the decision over the next 48 hours and then run with it so the team can get the game plan started and reps with that QB. I believe it should be Tyler Huntley, and I'm going to back up my argument coming up in just a second. but let me know who should start. Tyler Huntley, Tim Boyle, or Skylar Thompson. Imagine if they were all healthy. TH for Huntley, TB for Tim Boyle, or ST for Skylar Thompson. Well, let's talk about why it should not be Skylar Thompson. Because in 2024, EPA, which is expected points added, it's an advanced number here. Skylar Thompson has played in, 5 quarters of the season? Last one against the Bills, and then 3 quarters, maybe 4 quarters against the Seattle Seahawks. He has a total of negative 18 EPA, which ranks 5th worst in the National Football League, 31st overall. So in 3.5, 4 quarters of play as a quarterback, you have already racked up an EPA that is 5th worst in the NFL. And these other names aren't great. We know Bryce Young got benched. Will Levis, who the Dolphins play this Monday, is terrible. Caleb Williams has really struggled through 3 weeks, and Deshaun Watson has had an absolute disaster of a start to his season. But Skylar Thompson to already rack up a negative 18 EPA through 4 quarters is hard to do. Remember, if he plays all 12 quarters and is a starter for 3 weeks, that would be, quick math, negative 54. That would be wildly underneath everyone else. And it gets worse as well when you look at EPA and the drop back, which means when you drop back on a specific play, are you going to be a positive quarterback or are you going to be a negative quarterback? Well, he is quite negative at negative 0.44 points per drop back. That ranks for 2nd worst in the National Football League, only ahead of Bryce Young, who once again got benched by the Carolina Panthers. It has been very obvious to me when watching him to close out the final quarter and a half against Buffalo, watching the first 3.5 quarters against the Seattle Seahawks. He has been the 2nd worst quarterback in football. He's played 5 quarters. Simply cannot have him out there anymore. When I watched the film in the old 22, and I encourage you, if you have NFL Plus, to go do the same and watch almost every drop back he had against the Seahawks because he missed reads, he was late, he held onto the football, and it just was clear to me that he is someone that cannot run an NFL offense, and it's very clear that he needs to be put to the side. Hell, I'll even see if he can get waived. And it's honestly embarrassing that Mike McDaniel and this coaching staff felt confident in Skylar Thompson to be the backup quarterback. They should have addressed the quarterback 2 situation a lot earlier than it is being right now, because quite literally anyone would be better. And I think Tyler Huntley, who has a career 3-6 record as a starter from his days in Baltimore, would be better. And Tim Boyle, by the way, 0-5 as a career starter, 3 games for the Lions, 2 games for the Jets. They need to go to Tyler Huntley, and we'll talk about why he can bring some positive things to the Miami Dolphins offense in just a second. But we are sponsored by Z-Biotics. I am a massive fan of Z-Biotics because if you have ever skipped a workout because of drinks the night before, well, you're not alone. I do it sometimes. And if you're committed to healthy routine this year, which I am, you need Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol. Pre-Alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to drink this probiotic before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep for your best tomorrow. Another cool part about Z-Biotics, it's so portable. It comes in a big package like that, but then the individual ones are just this small, and you just take it before you start drinking, and you can feel great the next morning. Don't have to worry about any other type of grogginess or anything like that. I'm telling you, it has changed my life for the better, and I implore you to start joining Z-Biotics. It's the absolute best. And I kept on hearing about it and wondered what it was actually like. And now that I've tried it, like I said, I believe the hype. I couldn't go anywhere else. So stay in the loop and go to zbiotics.com/chatsports. You can also scan the QR code on the screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use code CHATSPORTS at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription using my code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or occasion. Z-Biotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use the code chatsports at checkout for 15% off. Thank you for Z-Biotics for sponsoring this episode and our good times here at Dolphins Today. All right, let's continue the conversation on Huntley and Skylar Thompson because I wanted to compare something. Tyler Huntley saw most of his starting work in 2021 when he started 4 games for the Baltimore Ravens, And when you compare it to Skylar Thompson this season, it's quite the difference. Adjusted EPA per play, which is a nice little statistic of taking away the wide receiver or running back, because EPA does calculate if you hand it off or throw it to someone and they fumble, well, that's a negative play. And I don't want to get the quarterback to be involved in that because they didn't do anything. They just gave it to someone else. And when you look at the difference, it's pretty night and day. He's basically even. That's Tyler Huntley in 2021. Skylar Thompson's negative .438. That's horrible. And when you talk about the expected completion percentage, Huntley's at 68.1. Thompson's 63.4. Like, it is so obvious when you look the eye test, you look at the advanced numbers, that Tyler Huntley is a better quarterback. He has had more success throwing the football through the air. And by the way, a non-pass first offense. Like, all those statistics came from when he was a, Baltimore Raven playing in a run first scheme with not a lot of good weapons. And that was before they had Zay Flowers. Like, he did a lot of positive things through the air for the Ravens in comparison to at least Skylar Thompson and what he's been able to do this season in 4 or 5 quarters with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And then when we talk about the rushing aspect of it, because we have only talked about the air side of it, but Huntley's one of the most dynamic running quarterbacks in the NFL. In his career, 115 carries, 509 yards, 3 touchdowns for an average of 4.4. Sure, the fumbles are a little bit sketchy, but he is really good when making plays happen with his legs, whether it be design runs, design QB powers, design quarterback read options with Devon Achane, or if he's just scrambling because he gets pressured from bad offensive line play, which the Dolphins have quite a bit from. And it would be beneficial to have a quarterback that's potentially able to make someone miss in the backfield, keep a play alive, and find someone down the field or run for 4 or 5 yards. He gives you a way more dynamic offense, and it is hard for me to fathom not starting Tyler Huntley this week. You signed him to your 53-man roster for a reason. I knew it was going to be too early to get him up to speed from Tuesday to start on Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks. But with a Monday Night Football game in Week 4, you now have 13 days for him to get up to speed on the playbook. Mike McDaniel has plays in his scheme, in his playbook, from his days in Washington as an offensive-minded coach working with RG3. I think they can find a way to have a offense tailored to Tyler Huntley, over the next 3 weeks, and he gives you the best chance to beat the Titans at home, the Patriots on the road in Week 5, and then coming out of the bye in Week 7 against the Indianapolis Colts. To me, starts Tyler Huntley. And if you're with me, get the positive vibes flowing towards Tyler Huntley. His nickname is Tyler Snoop Huntley. Type those Snoops down in the comments section. I hope he starts, and I hope he balls out on Monday night against the Titans so we can start saying Snoop on the watch party. It's going to be a ton of fun. And hopefully you are joining us on that Monday Night Football watch party because we will be live as we are for every single Dolphins football game. Join me. Join whoever's producing. Hopefully we do have a producer for that live show. Subscribe to the channel because we'll have you covered. All right.
You do have a producer, by the way.
I do. I haven't looked yet.
You do.
Nice.
It's not me, unfortunately. But
It's not Cullen. Then I don't want him. It ain't Cullen. I don't want him. Trent says we should draft Milroe in, my favorite college football quarterback. In.
He really is your guy.
He is my guy. I bought a jersey.
You did?
I'm not an Alabama football fan by any stretch of the imagination, but Jalen Milroe is my favorite college football player in a long time. That isn't on my favorite college football team because I am a North Carolina football fan. And I know people are going to come at me for this because he's the Patriots quarterback of the future potentially. But Drake May is my favorite college football player of all time. I love Drake May. I'm a North Carolina football fan. He carried us over the last 2 seasons. But Jalen Milroe, outside of North Carolina football, favorite guy.
There we go.
Since Jake Fromm at Georgia. I love Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
He was so sick on QB1, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I love
This was a great show.
Getting that peel back of his curtain. Listen, the quarterbacks that come through there, like Justin Fields. Yep.
Fromm, you added.
Fromm, Spencer Rattler.
Rattler came from there. Who was the bus that went from Bishop Gorman?
Tate Martell.
Tate Martell.
Stinks.
Yeah.
Then they had Riel Mitchell.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Was he the dude that went to Wake Forest, or that's the other dude?
That was the guy that went to Wake Forest.
Yeah.
And then, wait, maybe that was the Iowa State guy.
Yeah, I think it might have been.
Because I remember whenever they did the Riel Mitchell story, you know who was in that show? DJU.
No shit.
He was the backup quarterback to Riel Mitchell, but they literally benched Riel Mitchell halfway through their high school season for DJU.
Wow.
As like a freshman. It was insane. Oh, they had Sam Hartman in it too.
Yeah, Hartman was in it. There's some names.
There's some names. I'm spacing on the name in the first season because it was from Tate Martell, and then there was another quarterback who also went to Wake Forest, I think. Yeah, he did, because there was the first 2 seasons had Wake Forest quarterbacks.
Okay, so the first season was Tavon Bowers.
That's Tavon Bowers. That's the Wake Forest guy.
Jake Fromm, Tate Martell. Then it was Justin Fields, Sam Hartman, Riel Mitchell, Lance. I'm gonna mispronounce.
I didn't watch season 3. I only watched the first 2.
Yeah, they did have Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson season 4.
What?
According to this.
Interesting.
So there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah, Tavon Bowers.
Chad says, I vote what I expect Miami to do, then there's no letdown. I get it. I've actually had that mindset in the past, Chad Jones. Expectations low, so you can't be disappointed, and you can only be happy. I get it. All right, we'll stay live for a minute or so. If anyone wants to send in a super chat, stay live. If not, we'll head out of here, wrap up our days, and let you guys enjoy your dinners and your Tuesday evening, and then we'll be back live on Monday night against the Tennessee Titans for a Monday Night Football.
Yeah. You have any guesses of who your producer is?
I actually think I looked. I couldn't remember. Is it Triz?
It is
Yeah.
Trizzy. That's Trizzy. But yeah, if y'all want to see that really cool super chat graphic again, it's pretty sweet. Barry B contributed. So
I'm very hungry.
this man has not eaten all day, and I guarantee you, he's
I
probably
ate
thought
breakfast.
of he's probably thought of only 2 things today: playoff baseball, because it is that time of year, and the chocolate chip cookie that he got for lunch today.
Colin Brown knows me too well. He does. All I've thought about today is Mets Braves and that chocolate chip cookie that I saw when my lunch got delivered that I'll be taking home. I actually am going to be eating the Greek bowl for dinner tonight, though.
From the Greek place we got yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday. I'm very excited about that. It looked really good. I'll probably indulge in that cookie, too. I usually do a fast from dinner to lunch the next day. It's relatively easy. Just don't eat anything after dinner. Wake up, cup of coffee. Next thing you know, it's 11:30, and it's like, I really just got to wait 1 hour for lunch. But the breakfast that I had today to dinner combination, that's tough. Because that's like 9 a.m. this morning to 6:15, 6:30. That's tough.
Are you allowed to at least have like coffee or anything? Or?
Yeah, no. You're allowed to do anything you want, but
I know. Well, I'm just saying for you, like in your mind, what are you not allowed to do?
whoa, Chad! Whoa, whoa! Why are you saying Braves better win this series, Chad? Before we get out of here, I need to see this. Are you a Braves fan? It's very, very possible you are from Virginia, and that is kind of Braves territory.
Yeah.
Oh, Chad.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Your guy, Chad Jones, the Braves fan.
Chad, should we make a bet for the series?
Ooh.
I'm a Mets fan. Mike Norton is too. Let's go Mets. Chad, should we make a bet for this series? Big series. Braves need to win 2 of 3 to keep their season alive. They go 1-2. Mets clinch. Mets win the series. They clinch a playoff spot. Braves must win the series to keep their playoff hopes alive. Now, I think they could technically still make it if they go 1-2, and then Arizona struggles against San Francisco in the final series of the year. But it's going to be tough if the Braves lose the series to make the playoffs.
Very tough.
Chad's saying we will win 2 out of 3. I don't know, Chad. Yeah, it's scary that you guys got Chris Sale tomorrow. That's not great. I think the Mets have the upper hand today. I know we're underdogs, but Severino versus your guy, I don't know how to say his name. No Lindor yet. Tough. All right. Well, that's going to do it. Your bats woke up. So did ours. We kind of cooked the Phillies. Won 3 or 4 this weekend. Pretty live. All right. We'll see you on Monday with our next live show for our Monday Night Football watch party. Outside of that, you'll get videos every single day, sometimes 2. You'll get 2 videos tomorrow. So make sure you are subscribed and have your notifications turned on. I'm CL. Peace out.